Hi,
Oh,
how are you?
good. How are you?
Fine, thank you. I'm the interpreter.
Hi, ladies.
Hola,
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
bien vos.
Bien, todo bien.
Mm. Amanda, ¿esto se va, ya se ve en Give Butter
Not
o
yet.
cómo
I'm
es?
trying to. It's gonna be on Give Butter eventually. I'm just trying to get this going. Oh shoot.
Sí. Yo voy a empezar hablando y después voy a apagar mi cámara hasta el
¿Yo
final.
qué hago? ¿La dejo encendida? Sí, ¿no?
Sí,
Porque si no va a ser tipo una voz del más allá.
sí.
Ok, dale.
Y va a ser cuando Jessica le pregunte a Sueni y cuando Sueni responda.
Perfecto.
Si Jessica se queda sin internet, sigo haciendo yo las preguntas.
Dale. Entonces son las preguntas. Y también creo que había visto las preguntas Angélica y las respuestas de Angélica, ¿puede ser?
No, pero Angélica va a hablar en inglés.
Preguntas al portugués y las respuestas de ella al inglés.
Sí.
Dale.
Yay! Hey, everybody.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi,
Hi,
Barb.
how are you? Nice to meet you.
I haven't put on makeup in so long, in like months, I feel like. All right, so are we streaming on Give Butter?
We are about to be. Yes.
Okay, I see it.
Please let me know.
Hey!
Oh my gosh.
Flawless.
God.
Awesome, Amanda. Great. Jazz and Barbara, do you have the run of show open?
Yeah.
I'll open it right now.
Yeah, let's have that open. And then Barbara, your phone cable is tangled. Can you see that? Yeah, that is a little distracting.
Okay. Is it
Thank
better
you.
now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I guess we're just waiting for Swaney. She confirmed she was getting on early, so I'm gonna tell her we're on.
Do you know if she's been interpreted consecutively before?
I believe she has, and she understands what we're doing to speak in short sentences to let you translate so then she can come back and finish her thoughts.
Okay, good. But it would be good for me to tell her how the dynamic works so that
Please.
she's not stopping every single phrase, because that is a little bit annoying for the audience.
Okay, great. I would suggest that you guys, I'm gonna put the link to the event in the chat, and you should probably, if you want, open that up and definitely put it on mute. Make sure that okay, yeah, my Give Butter is muted because there's a 20-second time delay between us and what they're seeing.
Jessica, Swanee is saying that she can hear us, but she cannot appear in the camera.
Amanda, did you hear that?
Yeah, but is she joining did she join the Zoom just like you ladies did?
Through the panelist link?
Yeah, it should just be like how y'all joined.
Okay, hold on. Let Barbara ask her.
I'll ask her now.
Okay.
Oi, Suene, você está me escutando? A tradutora aqui. Acho que você tem que responder através da caixinha do bate-papo. Ah, tudo bem. Aí a gente está vendo que tem uma imagem possível. Você vê a câmera na parte da baixo do Zoom? Agora você sumiu. Se você está me escutando, poderia me indicar através da caixinha do bate-papo? Agora a gente vê seu nome, como que você pudesse ter a câmera. Agora você está 2 vezes. Você tem a câmera ligada? O microfone tá. Ah, agora sim. Agora a gente vê você.
Tá com ela.
Você
Ok.
pode falar para testar o som?
Hi.
Hi, Swaney.
Hi, Sueni.
Obrigada, amiga.
I'm gonna ask her to speak for a little while so we can test her audio. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Suene, tudo bom? Eu sou Bárbara, sua tradutora.
Ai, que linda. Tudo bem?
Tudo bem? Você poderia falar um pouquinho para testar o som?
Oi.
Mais um pouquinho, tipo uma frase.
Oi, meu nome é Suene, moro no Brasil.
Perfeito. Então, a gente vai fazer a tradução consecutiva. Então, você fala um pouquinho e depois eu faço a tradução. Mas você não tem que parar o tempo inteiro, tá? Pode falar,
Tá
tipo,
bom.
uma ideia, 30 segundos, um minutinho, e depois a gente faz a tradução, tá?
Tá bom.
Tá,
Tá bom.
perfeito. Obrigada.
Obrigada a você.
And Swaney, you're showing. Barbara? Could you tell her she's showing up twice, and we need to hang up on one of them?
A Jéssica tá falando que tem 2 de você aqui.
É, porque eu estava com dificuldade em entrar no aplicativo, aí a minha amiga colocou pelo computador. Ela vai tirar aqui. É que a minha
Ah,
amiga
tá.
me ajudar.
Ela tá perguntando se você pode tirar alguma.
Vai tirar, vai tirar.
Tá. She's gonna remove it now. Don't worry.
Okay.
She was having trouble connecting and now she's okay.
Well, this is great.
Do you hear me well?
Yes. Is that Angelica?
Yes.
Hi, Angelica. How are you?
Nice to meet
Hi.
you.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you. We are here
Thank you so
all.
much for joining us.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. 8 minutes ahead of schedule. I love it.
Tá, obrigada. Agora sim.
I really love to hear the Brazilian language. It's very beautiful. I'm so excited.
Barbara, could you translate?
Suene, ela tá falando que... I think she understood. This is why I didn't translate that. I can translate it either way. Ela tá amando você falando português.
Ai, que bom. Ai, que fofa.
You're very nice.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll be using the first person, okay? As if I were any of them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And I believe Barbara, Angelica, you're going to speak English. So Barbara, really what you're here to interpret is my direct questions to Swaney and her direct responses to the audience.
Okay, so Angélica, vas a hablar en inglés, ¿no?
Sí, en realidad vamos a leer. Como que tenemos aquí, en el momento de las preguntas ya responderemos como más libremente.
Pero siempre en inglés?
Sí,
Okay. She'll be speaking English. At first, she'll be reading, but then after that, during the Q&A, she'll be speaking English. Okay?
What exactly are you reading? Because it's most of it, it's only 5 questions.
yes, and I am in the 5 questions you sent me early.
Okay.
Suene, a Jéssica vai fazer as perguntas para você em inglês, eu vou traduzir para o português, depois você faz a resposta em português e eu faço a tradução para o inglês, tá?
Tá bom. Tudo bem,
Legal.
sem problemas.
Legal.
Vou pegar meu celular, tá? Um segundo.
She'll
Question.
grab her cell phone and be right back.
In the case if I need to translate something, if I am not so comfortable with the language English, can I ask you for help? Okay.
Yes, of course.
Yes, of course.
I'll be right back.
Readings.
Hey, everybody that's logged in early. We're 5 minutes ahead of time. What the tech is running smooth, and we will be starting in 4 minutes at exactly 7 p.m. Eastern. So thanks and welcome, and we know you can see us. If you're logged in a few minutes early with us, please feel free to grab yourself a beverage of choice, like an O'Doul's non-alcoholic beer or an alcoholic beverage of your choice. We're going to be here for the next hour, hour and a half, so get cozy, starting now in 2 or 3 minutes.
Estaba viendo que pues tengo 50% de la batería, pero como en caso de que, pues a ver a dónde correr. Por si algo. Súper bien. Sí, muchas gracias.
All right, thanks those of you who are logging in to join us. I've been getting texts and WhatsApp messages. We know you can see us. We've got about 2 minutes until our starting time. Thank you for joining us. Sit down and get comfy. This is so exciting. We are now at we're past $1,000 of funds raised, $1,115. on our goal of 3,000, and we're just getting started. So thank you for everybody that's tuning in. I see team members tuning in. I'm getting texts and WhatsApp messages. Welcome, everyone. We've got 1 minute till our start at exactly 7 p.m. Eastern. And those of you who are asking, no, we cannot see you. You can see us, but we cannot see you. You should be looking at givebutter.com. You should see 5 of us panelists. We're going to be getting started right now. It is 7 p.m. My name is Jessica Kizorik. I'm the sort of MC and moderator for the evening, but I would like to introduce the chapter president, Jazz, to get us started and kick us off, and introduce who we've got on this Zoom Give Butter experience tonight. Jazz, go ahead. Oh, I think Jazz may be experiencing technical difficulties. Okay.
Okay, hi.
Okay.
Well, so I'm having some difficulties with my computer, so I hope we can do this. So welcome everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual event on how UN Women transforms lives. And a special thank you to everyone who made a donation to transform women's lives. I'm Jasmine Freddy, and I'm the president of UN Women USA Miami chapter. UN Women is the United Nations entity dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women, a global champion for women and girls. UN Women was established to accelerate progress on meeting their needs worldwide. UN Women supports UN member states as they set global standards for achieving gender equality, and works with governments and civil society to design laws, policies, programs, and services needed to ensure that the standards are effectively implemented and truly benefit women and girls worldwide. Empowering women fuels thriving economies, spurring productivity and growth. Yet gender inequalities remain deeply entrenched in every society. Women lack access to decent work and face occupational segregation and gender wage gaps. They are too often denied access to basic education and healthcare. Women in all parts of the world suffer violence and discrimination. They are underrepresented in political and economic decision-making processes. So as you can see, we have a lot of work to do, and UN Women is Women and Girls Champion. At the UN Women USA Miami chapter, we're a group of like-minded individuals who support UN Women's mission. If you are in the Miami area, come and join us, or join your nearest chapter. The most important thing is that we all collaborate to make gender equality a reality. So let me introduce our moderator for today, Jessica Kizorik. Jessica is our first VP, and she is the owner of 2 Carat Productions, where she produces really amazing videos. She's also the founder of Eyes on Your Mission, a nonprofit that donates super cool fundraising videos so that other nonprofits can raise funds. She has both donated money and free video production services to UN Women. And remember, you can do your donations throughout the panel today. Let me introduce our 2 other panelists. Sueni dos Santos Noriega is a Brazilian activist fighting to end violence against women in her community near Rio de Janeiro. She started the process of social participation at the age of 11. Here she learned theater, dance, and circus techniques. At age 16, she participated in a course on the health of Black women and became involved in the fight for the rights of women, and especially Black women. She started vocational training for educators at age of 17. From 2013 to 2017, Noriega was one of the participants of a program by Casa de Mujer Trabajadora, supported by UN Women Trust Fund to end violence against women. In 2019, she was invited by UN Women of France to participate in the Gender Equality Forum that was held in Tunisia. There she was able to publicize her work and performance in Brazil in defense of women's rights, while also listening to the experience of other countries in the fight of gender equality. Angélica Beltrán Pineda, she's specialized in political science. She is the coordinator of the project Modelo Local, Más Justicia, Menos Barreras. If I translate that correct, it's more justice, less barriers for women in the Corporación Colectiva Justicia Mujer. She has experience in the areas of gender, human rights, and social organizations. And she coordinates projects and organizational processes. So let's get started. We have an amazing panel. And so I would love for you to hear what UN Women does in Brazil and in Colombia to fight violence against women.
All right, thank you, Jazz, for introducing us all. We have our great interpreter, Barbara, who's also on. Make sure that there's no language barriers for tonight and you guys can hear straight from the mouth of people in the field who are making a difference for women through UN Women. With that said, I want to explain to you just a little bit about how tonight's going to go. And this is an interesting evening. And this is actually the first time we are piloting this Give Butter interface, which you can see has already raised us $1,115. So thank you for those of you who have donated. You're welcome to donate all throughout the event. If you make a donation, even if it's a $5 donation, you can put a comment and you can put a jiffy, you can put a photo, anything. So we'll see and sort of be announcing donations as we go throughout the night. We want this to be interactive. We want this to be fun. We want this to be, a whole new way to raise money and to do a sort of a live video stream. So thank you so much for joining us so far. Tech is going great. We have Amanda Guerra behind the scenes who's making sure everything runs smoothly, but cross our fingers, we'll get through the whole night with no tech difficulties, right? So with that said, this event was really inspired by Swaini. And Swaini's from Brazil. And I met Swaini because she is the star of a short video that I produced for UN Women. And when I went down there, I went to Brazil, and it was a very interesting time. It was right after the Olympics. And for those of you who don't know much about Brazil's culture, it was a very difficult time for the people and for the government. And there was a lot of things going on behind the scenes economically for the country. With that said, Swaini was just a breath of fresh air. She was the star of our film, and she really deserved the spotlight because not only is she a powerful woman herself, but she is really an activist and an advocate for other women and men in her community. And who she's been has really been impacted by UN Women. So I thought, what better than to get someone who can talk to us straight from their own perspective. It's not through my filter, it's not through anybody else's filter, but we've got Swaini in Brazil and Angelica, who I'm just meeting for the first time, but she, from Colombia, also has direct field experience working with UN Women. And we want you to know, even if you don't make a donation tonight, that's okay. We want you to leave this webinar with a whole new sort of appreciation for the role that UN Women plays on a global scale. We're not talking about US gender equality, we're talking about global gender equality. And that translates across cultures, that translates across languages, it translates across ethnicities, it translates across religion. And the reason that I'm on the board of UN Women and like to contribute is because I feel like there's really no other organization who's better suited to influence legislation and politics and tip the scales in favor of women and girls in our world. So I'm excited tonight. I'm glad that you're joining me. I hope my energy is contagious, and I'm really excited to hear from our panelists. Another thing I'm excited about is we have new board members that we would like you to meet tonight. And nobody likes long speeches, so we weren't going to have each one get on and introduce themselves. But what we did do is we had them produce a very short video, less than 1 minute, of why they're passionate to be on the board of UN Women USA, the Miami chapter. And so we're gonna play you those videos. There's 10 videos and each one's under a minute. So we're gonna play 5 for you at the beginning and 5 for you towards the end, but that'll really give you a sense of who's on this board, who's committed. If they are a person, if you see a video from the person that invited you to this seminar, make sure you make a donation in their name, make sure we know they invited you, and make sure that you put any kind of comment or fun image that you want so that we can see on GiveButter as things are coming in. We've got, oh, my sister Carly, and Christina Jones, and Pamela Lopez. So as they come in, I'd like to just splice a little bit of that in there. But that's how tonight is going to go. Also, if you have questions and that you would like to address the panelists, the way to do that is to put your question inside of your donation, because what's going to happen is your donation is going to pop up on the right-hand side of the screen for everybody, so everybody will see your question, and we'll choose questions that come in that way. So that's just part of our fundraising extravaganza. All the money from this event tonight raised, except for the $100 for the interpreter, every penny of it is going to UN Women. And so we'd like to get started. So Amanda, why don't you cue the Board of Directors member video number 1.
I'm passionate about being on the board of UN Women Miami because I believe that every woman and girl should have a life that's free from any type of violence. They should have equitable income and they should have fulfilling work. They should also be invited to participate in the leading, designing, and improvement of the world that we live in. My name is Stacy Lucis. Like many of you, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a leader, I'm an activist, I'm a business owner. But I believe that only when all women have access to the opportunities that some of us have, will we have a world that's fully empowered for women and one that's a better and more inclusive world. I'm passionate about being on the board of UN Women Miami because I believe that every woman and girl should have a life that's free from any type of violence. They should have equitable income and they should have fulfilling
Play that video,
work.
Amanda.
They should also be invited to participate in the leading, designing, and improvement of the world that we live in. My name is Stacy Lucis. Like many of you, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter, I'm a wife, I'm a leader, I'm an activist, I'm a business owner. But I believe that only when all women have access to the opportunities that some of us have, will we have a world that's fully empowered for women and one that's a better and more inclusive world.
My name is Rochi Yaneza. I am an art advisor and art appraiser. I grew up in third world countries. I developed a high sensitivity to women's inequalities because of that. And that's why I decided I wanted to do something to change it. I chose UN Women because I know that they work internationally to empower women through education, sustainability, and justice.
Hi, I'm Marisa Portuondo, and I'm so honored to serve on the board for the Miami chapter of UN Women. I'm extremely passionate about this organization because of its core mission, which is to bring equality and empowerment to women and girls worldwide. We all say that women have equal rights today, but we know deep down inside that's just not the truth, and it is especially not the truth in certain countries around the world. It is our mission to help advocate for these women and these girls, to help bring them equality in every form. I'm especially passionate about financial equality. I feel very strongly that until women achieve true financial equality, they won't have real equality in every other aspect of their life. As a business owner, I have seen this firsthand, and as a business attorney, I have seen it working with women and men business owners. So I really hope that you will join us. I hope that you will help us spread education and abundance to the women and girls worldwide. Your donations are greatly appreciated, and we hope that you will be a part of our mission. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Diane Sanchez, and I'm a member of the UN Women's Board in Miami, and I'm very passionate and excited to be a member of this organization. I've been very fortunate in my career to have worked in 28 countries, and in 2 of those countries I actually worked directly with the United Nations to develop infrastructure for communications in these emerging markets, and that was in Haiti and Honduras. So I've seen firsthand the impact that the United Nations has in our societies throughout the region. What excited me the most recently in joining the United Nations Women's or UN Women Miami organization was their commitment to 3 areas that I'm very passionate about. One is in women's empowerment, gender equality, and then the other is freeing women of violence throughout the world and throughout our society. So I really felt that aligning with these resources and actually with women who are very powerful, very committed, and very passionate about what I am in trying to make a difference in helping women find their voice, in giving women a voice when in some of our societies and some of the countries don't have that voice, I thought was very important. So I would definitely encourage you to join UN Women Miami. I think it's an excellent opportunity for us to work together in the Americas region and make a difference and help women, help ourselves find our voice. Thank you.
My name is Griselda Elena, and I'm proud to serve on the board for UN Women USA's Miami chapter. I've traveled to Thailand, Myanmar, Cuba, even locally I've volunteered. And trips aren't enough. We have to advocate, we have to fundraise, we have to promote messages that could later possibly turn into policy. All these efforts are important on a global scale. It's my responsibility to use my privileges to amplify the voices of women who are seldom heard or sometimes not heard at all. Equality among genders is viewed as progress, which is great, but I want to live in a world where it's the standard. I want equality among genders normalized. UN Women USA gives us a space and a platform to advocate, fundraise, and pass along the messages for women across the globe.
All right. Thank you very much for just taking the time to meet our board. It's really important you see who's behind this and get the sense for the kind of people and what their commitment are in this volunteer effort. I have one video that I'm very proud to show because it's the one that I was talking about Swaney. And I figured that this is sort of like, since nobody's traveling, it's sort of like taking a little trip to Brazil for 4 minutes. And that's the length of Swaney's video, but you'll really get to see her in action, her in her environment. And the short film really gives you a sense of where does your money go to when you donate to UN Women, and what kind of programs and what kind of people are impacted. And really at the end, it's women like Swaney particularly, and also Angelica, who have been impacted by UN Women's program and can speak to it directly from their mouth. So Amanda, if you would please cue up the 4-minute video about Swaney, take us to Brazil.
Meu nome é Suene dos Santos Nogueira. Eu amo no Brasil a nossa cultura. Nós somos um povo muito alegre, muito companheiro um dos outros. Mesmo a gente sendo pobre ou a gente vivendo muita dificuldade, a gente é muito amigo. No Brasil, nós temos muita violência, principalmente contra a mulher. Tá tendo muita violência sexual na rua contra as mulheres e a gente fica muito assustada. A gente que é mulher, a gente anda muito assustada, geralmente à noite. E eu passo por isso quase todos os dias quando vou para a faculdade. Como eu cresci em um projeto social, lá era um projeto misto e a gente, desde muito pequena, a gente vivencia já muitas situações machistas, que a gente não sabe que é machista, mas a gente sabe que não é normal. Principalmente no transporte público, eu já sofri assédio dentro do trem. Mas quando eu encontrei o espaço feminista, principalmente a Cantra, eu pude ver que isso tudo é preconceito das pessoas e que eu não devo mudar nada em mim e que eu tô bem assim.
Cantra é uma organização não governamental que tem uma orientação feminista, atua na defesa dos direitos das mulheres.
Eu sou sobrevivente de violência sexual. Eu fui estuprada no final de 2012, até entrar nessa sala e ver que eu não estava sozinha, até eu conhecer mulheres.
E eu creio que o caminho que nós estamos fazendo é o caminho certo, é nos unindo, é lutando por nós e pelas outras que não têm tanta força que nós temos agora. E essa é a verdade, a gente está tentando mudar um pouco aí esse cenário de violência. É difícil, mas a gente está unida para isso.
E essa turma é muito dependente, eles são fortes, elas são guerreiras, elas querem vencer e vão vencer.
Eu me considero uma líder, uma ativista, uma feminista e uma lutadora da causa dos direitos das mulheres.
It still gets me choked up sometimes when I watch it. Swaney, you'll have to tell me, but I think that was her grandmother. And I just love that section of the interview. I love everything about making that short film. So I thought that would be a great way to introduce Swaney. So now let's get to the meat of this, and that's hearing from you guys about how does UN Women transform lives. So I'd like to kick off this question to Swaney. Barbara, I'll let you take over to interpret. But Swaney, could you tell us how you came to hear about UN Women and why did you get involved?
Primeiro, eu gostaria de dizer, eu acho que era sua avó, né, no vídeo.
Não,
eu
é a minha mãe, é a minha mãe.
It was my mother, not my grandma in the video.
Oh, your grandmother? Okay, your mother.
My
Great.
mother, yeah. Então, a pergunta, e eu acho que o vídeo foi uma boa forma de te apresentar, mas a pergunta é como foi que você escutou falar da UN Women, da ONU Mulheres, e como foi que você ficou envolvida?
A primeira vez que eu ouvi falar da ONU Mulheres foi nesse projeto, em 2015 para 2016, e eu participava de um núcleo de mulheres jovens, né, desse projeto que é a Cantra.
the first time that I heard about this about UN Women was during this project in 2015, 2016, and I was part of CAMTRA, which is a feminist group, a group of women.
And why did you want to get involved? When you heard about CAMTRA, which is a program funded by UN Women, what made you want to personally become part of this group or part of these activities?
E por que foi que você decidiu se envolver com essa organização? Porque a CAMTRA é um grupo que tem fundos da UN Women. Então, como foi que você decidiu se envolver? Por quê?
Porque eu senti essa necessidade de estar em espaços liderado por mulheres e também para eu poder falar por outras mulheres também que não tinham a mesma oportunidade que eu tinha, de sair da minha comunidade, de estar nesse espaço aprendendo e também multiplicando.
Because I felt the need of being part of spaces that were led by women. It was very important to me to be able to share with other women and to share my opportunities, my experiences. For me to be able to learn from women was the thing that I really wanted to do.
Excellent, excellent. The next question is for Angelica. If you could tell us just a little bit about your background with UN Women and what you do, and how you use UN Women funded, funds. And then, why don't you start there? But my second question is, why are you work so hard to stop violence against women in Colombia?
Okay, greetings to all. First of all, we are very happy to be here with you this night. Okay, so this is the third phase of the project with UN Women for the Justice for Women Collective, that is my organization. And we are very happy to work with UN Women in this third year because we have a lot of results, like with a lot of satisfaction. And I'm going to start with the question that you made to us. So I'm trying to give you a little bit of a context, what happens in Colombia, and maybe you can understand the urgency of the work that we have with UN Women. Like in Colombia, after the peace process signed with the FARC guerrillas in 2016, and the transformation that this has made possible, women continue living in situations of risk and fear. By August 2020, 37,688 women were victims of gender-based violence in our country. During the time of quarantine and social isolation, there was a 200% of increase in calls for help to the National Helpline for cases of gender-based violence. This is very, very concerning for us. Together, we must stop this violence against women in Colombia because despite the existence of normative frameworks on the subject, the state is a second aggressor and does not fulfill the standards of protection in a coordinated and effective way, causing institutional violence. In this regard, it is worth noting that there is a wide margin of impunity on the subject, given that the last 10 years, 34,751 processes of feminicide have been registered at the national level, of which 90% continue to be unpunished. This is a very big margin. This context, which legitimizes and naturalizes discrimination and violence against us, is expressed through a lot of violations, such as migration with the current conditions of xenophobia, the sale of virginities for less than $700, rape and impalement, forced displacement, whose main victims are women, human trafficking, controlled by illegal armed actors in ways such as inducing webcam prostitution and other forms of violence that are less known and are not judicialized including psychological, property, and economic violence. Changing this reality is part of what we do with UN Women by creating legal innovations through our feminist activism for the right of women and girls to a life free of violence. That is like the need of the work in Colombia.
Okay, excellent. Well, thank you so much. I'm actually looking at it. Took me a second because I'm looking at the donations come in from Alina Portuondo, $100, from the grandchildren of Hortensia, $50. Thank you guys as these come in. This is so exciting that it's interactive like that. All right, so the second question is for Sueni. And it's really why we're on this webinar tonight is to answer the question of how has UN Women impacted your life? Like, Sueni, how are you a different human being or a different person than maybe you would be if you never came across UN Women?
E a segunda pergunta é para você, Sueni. E eu queria saber como foi que a UN Women impactou na sua vida. Como é diferente a sua vida e como tivesse sido a sua vida sem o engajamento com a UN Women.
Então, eu acredito que a ONU Mulheres ela tem feito a diferença, de fato, na vida das mulheres e dos projetos que ela apoia. Pode falar?
Pode continua.
Tá bom, desculpa. E para mim tem sido uma questão de oportunidades. Mulheres como eu só se tornam mulheres empoderadas e referências para outras mulheres se tiverem oportunidade de estar nos espaços para falar sobre as nossas vivências. E é isso que a ONU Mulheres faz, nos dá a oportunidade de poder ser exemplo e poder também falar da nossa realidade, porque os espaços não querem nos ouvir, e a ONU Mulheres ela faz isso.
So I believe that UN Women has really made a difference for the life of women due to the type of projects that they support. For me, this has been an amazing opportunity because for women like me to feel empowered and to feel that we have a voice, these type of spaces are very good. And this is what UN Women is actually doing. They are giving us the space to feel empowered and to feel that we have the opportunity to speak up, because otherwise we wouldn't be heard.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay, awesome. Next question for Angelica. How have you seen, how has UN Women impacted your life particularly, but even more important, how has UN Women impacted the lives of the women that you represent and fight for?
Okay, thank you, Jessica. Okay, for us, it's very important to say that UN Women has 5 offices in Colombia, one of which is in the department or state of Antioquia, given that is one of the 3 most insecure territories in the country for women, which is reflected by the 181 murders of women during 2019 in said territory. To give you an example, we have a case of Anna that has 44 years old and is a rural woman and mother of 6 children, assisted by the organization Justice for Women Collective and UN Women in Antioquia. She was attacked by her husband, who tried to kill her and her baby with a sharp weapon after raping her and her other daughters and attempting to wave their vaginas. This is like a very strong case that we support in Antioquia. Neither Anna nor her children have received any response from the state today. To transform this reality, since 2018, UN Women has invested nearly $69,967 in the local model for more justice, less barriers, to prevent and attend to gender-based violence against women. That is like our main project, which is a virtual educational tool created in conjunction with the Justice for Women Collective to overcome institutional violence and re-victimization through training for humanicide and comprehensive qualitative care with a differential and gender focus. This related with the case of Anna that I recently mentioned. We will give like 5 reasons why this tool of the local model allows women to escape from violence and save their lives. 1, that for its creation, the needs and proposals of 178 public servants from the health, justice, protection, civil society, academy, and private sectors were heard. Like this has like a lot of legitimacy, the construction of this local model. The educational tool, which contains 8 interactive modules, is based on 17 years of experience of our psychosocial and legal team in the accompaniment of cases like the Anna case. It has reached 31,277 people with information, education, and communication actions that contribute to the sensibilization of the society about gender-based violence. We had like other impressive results in this regard, and we believe that this kind of results that the local model allows to us really contributes to avoid that the cases like the Anna continue happening. So this is a tool that helps civil society and the 6,535 women survivors of sexual and domestic violence in Antioquia, such as Anna, undertake political advocacy to incorporate the role of each sector, as well as good practices into public policies and laws. We are advancing in the construction of territories in which women and girls have the right to a life free of violence, with more justice, less barriers. This is the main impact that the project that we are working with UN Women has in the life of a lot of cases like the Anna and a lot of others that we don't want to mention tonight.
That's so troubling. And to think of, cases like Anna's that would go unserved if it wasn't for even the modest funds. I think you said $69,000 is how much UN Women has invested in this project?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks for sharing that case. And I'm sure there's many other horror stories that we don't want to know about, but that you and your legal team are fighting for. So we appreciate your effort and we appreciate you coming in. Next question is for Swaini. Outside of yourself, and I keep asking sort of the same questions, but I sort of interview people for a living. And so sometimes I like to ask a question another time to get a different sort of answer, because we're all sort of talking about the same thing. And Swaini, you just in the last question talked about how it's impacted your life. And how do you see that based on your experience, because you've been to Europe with UN Women, you've done UN Women programs in Brazil, you're now doing this Miami, and you know me, and how has UN Women transformed the lives of the people around you? Maybe there's a friend or someone that you know, sort of like the Anna story, that you could tell about how these funds are getting into the hands of people that really need them.
Então, Suene, agora eu vou fazer outra pergunta que tem a ver, porque eu pergunto muito, esse é o meu trabalho, e eu gosto de perguntar outras coisas, não as coisas que todo mundo responde, né? E você falou da sua vida, de como a ONU Mulheres mudou a sua vida. E você falou da sua experiência, você tem muita experiência, você foi para a Europa, você trabalha no Brasil, com Miami, você trabalha comigo, mas eu gostaria de saber o que acontece com as vidas de outros, né? Algum amigo, alguma amiga, como é que esses fundos realmente chegam para as mãos das pessoas que realmente precisam deles? Que pode contar disso?
Deixa eu ver se eu entendi, tá? A pergunta. Quer saber como esses projetos da ONU Mulheres realmente atingem as mulheres aqui, através dos projetos.
So would you like to know how is it that the funds from UN Women really get to the women here in Brazil through projects?
Maybe, I would love to know that. Yeah, if you want to answer that question, sure.
Eu adoraria de saber isso também.
Então, eu acredito que essas iniciativas, elas têm grande importância, principalmente para mim, que cresci em projeto social e eu sempre vivi em um lugar distante de tudo, falta de algumas políticas públicas, e quando você tem um projeto que te proporciona essas coisas que você não tem, então é muito importante essas iniciativas, exatamente por isso. E também por conta da influência que a gente acaba tendo na nossa comunidade, porque se eu tenho a oportunidade de ter um conhecimento sobre os meus direitos enquanto mulher, ter acesso a métodos contraceptivos, ter acesso à informação, eu consigo passar essa informação para minha família, para as mulheres ao meu redor, então eu acabo sendo uma multiplicadora de informações. Então, esses projetos são de extrema importância por isso, você valorizar o trabalho das mulheres nas comunidades, para que elas sejam referências e elas acabem mudando aquela realidade.
So I believe that these type of initiatives are extremely important for people like me because I grew up in an area that was quite isolated without public policies. So these type of projects let you get to things that you wouldn't have. So it's very important because this way you become an influence, a reference, some sort of influencer for your community, because the other women get also to know about their rights. They can have access to information. For example, if I can get to know about contraceptive methods, I can share that information with them. And this way I can become a multiplier of information. And this is very good because we can have more and more information about our rights, the rights of women. And this is very good because this in turn gives value to the work that women do and can really be a game changer for their reality.
Wow, that's great. Swaney, I love what you're saying, and I also love the passion behind what you're saying as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Angelica, I know that Spanish is your first language, and you're trying to help us out as an English-speaking audience, but if Swaney is really talking from her heart, she's not reading any notes. If you have anything to say too, and you would like to switch into Spanish, I'm sure our audience would love to hear maybe any kind of comments that you have that maybe aren't scripted too. But I'm going to direct the next question now to Angelica. And you told us the case of Anna, but the next question was really, is there any other memorable cases? Because what we're seeing is that you are part of a legal team that helps women who are in disadvantaged circumstances, and specifically who are experiencing violence and are in the legal system and maybe don't know how to represent themselves or how to look after the best interests of their children. And that's where you step in to give that kind of advice and consultation and support in building these legal cases to keep women safe. Am I translating? Does that make sense? Do I have it right?
Yes. So I'm going to try to speak in Spanish.
Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so sí, efectivamente la colectiva Justicia Mujer trabaja por acompañar de manera jurídica, política, psicológica a los casos de muchas mujeres que en Colombia pues no llegan a las instituciones del Estado y no son atendidas como deberían ser, como el caso que contábamos de Ana. No sé si Bárbara quiere traducir ya o termino.
Puedes seguir si quieres, no hay problema.
Okay. Uno de los casos, por ejemplo, que nos contaban, como les contaba, este es un proyecto que tenemos de una herramienta para cualificar las capacidades de las instituciones del Estado, de la sociedad civil, de la empresa privada, para atender y prevenir las violencias contra las mujeres. Y en ese sentido tenemos una herramienta educativa que es la que permite pedagogizar ese modelo local. En esta pedagogización del modelo tenemos 2 casos que nos contaban como su experiencia en la primera corte formativa. Uno de ellos, una lideresa del municipio de Ituango, que es un municipio rural alejado de la centralidad del departamento. Esta mujer nos contaba cómo esta experiencia del modelo local le había aportado muchas herramientas para transformar su experiencia organizativa, pero también para atender un caso de una familiar cercana que vivió una situación de violencia recientemente. Y ahí pudo aplicar en realidad los conocimientos que brindó el modelo local y llevar como a un feliz término el caso en términos de acceso a la justicia.
It's true. We really work with justice for women, and at our collective, at our organization, what we do is to accompany women from the legal standpoint and from the psychological standpoint. And what we do is to help those women that cannot reach the state. So what we do with them is to help them and to accompany them. For example, as I explained, we have this project, which is a tool to qualify, to grade the different institutions from the state, from the civil society, and from the private sector to see how they work in the prevention of violence against women. And as I mentioned before, this is an educational tool. And through this experience, I have 2 cases worth mentioning. The first of them is about a woman that is the mayor or the leader in Iturango, which is a rural area, a rural municipality. And she told us that through the local model that we have taught her, this was very good because it was a tool that really helped us to transform the organization in her municipality, but also it was very useful for her to be able to help a family member that had recently suffered from gender violence. She was able to apply the knowledge that we had taught her through the local model, and she was able to solve the case and to help this woman find relief.
Thank you so much. And thanks for sharing that perspective. And I like you speaking Spanish. It frees you up, right? And to report in on Give Butter, $1,665 raised by 69 people. I love the comment. Amanda, you were born to make a difference. Amanda is running our tech behind the scenes. Yes, she is. Thank you, Andre, $50. Great. So next question. And we only have 2 more questions left. So let's see, Sweni, I would like you to tell us about your work with UN Women in Europe. Why did this impact you, and sort of how did this experience train you to be a community activist and organizer?
Então, Sweni, agora para você, eu gostaria de saber como foi seu trabalho com a ONU Mulheres na Europa? Como foi que isso impactou em você? E como foi que eles te treinaram para você se tornar uma ativista e organizadora da sua comunidade?
Então, em 2019, eu tive a oportunidade de participar do Fórum de Igualdade de Gênero, que foi na Tunísia, realizado pela ONU Mulheres da França, e eu fui convidada através de uma pessoa que é da França e fez um estágio aqui no Brasil, no movimento feminista, e lá eu pude falar, assim, trocar ideias com outras mulheres de outros países que vivem coisas semelhantes ou piores do que o que a gente vive aqui no Brasil, em relação à violência, porque a gente vive muita violência ainda. No Brasil, as mulheres sofrem muita violência, sofrem feminicídio, muitas mulheres ainda são mortas, esse número aumentou durante a pandemia, eu acho que eu devo falar sobre isso, para as pessoas estarem conscientes do que está acontecendo no Brasil, nesse momento, em relação às mulheres. As mulheres ainda ganham menos do que os homens, fazendo as mesmas funções, e principalmente nós, mulheres negras, estamos vivendo muitos ataques ainda, e eu queria muito falar sobre isso, e lá eu pude levar essa história, mostrar a nossa cara, a cara da mulher brasileira, e mostrar que nós também estamos lutando contra tudo isso, nós não estamos nos calando, nós estamos lutando E lá nesse fórum eu pude também ver outras experiências de países que eu nunca tinha ouvido falar ou que eu nunca tinha tido contato. E lá eu pude ter a experiência de ouvi-las, né? Porque eu nunca teria essa experiência se não fosse a ONU Mulheres, né? Eu nunca sairia da minha comunidade, da onde eu moro, para estar na Europa, assim, nunca eu teria essa oportunidade se não fosse a ONU Mulheres. Então, eu estou muito agradecida também.
In 2019, I was invited to the Gender Equality Forum in Tunisia, and I was invited by UN Women from France. Actually, I got in touch with someone that had been in an internship in Brazil, and that's how she invited me. And it was very good because I was able to exchange ideas with women from other countries that were in the same situation as Brazil, and also other countries that are much worse than us. But it is very important to note that in Brazil, there is still a lot of violence, a lot of women being killed, a lot of femicides, how we call it here. And also this increased during the pandemic. And I think it is worth mentioning this fact, what the situation is like for women now in our country. Women are still making less money for the same type of work, and especially as Black women are suffering from lots of attacks. So I think this is worth pointing it out. And also, it was very good for me to be there at that forum because I was able to show our face, to show the face of the Brazilian woman to the community and to share with them how is it that we are fighting against all these. Also, I was able to hear other experiences from countries that I haven't even heard of before. And that was really good because I was able to listen to them. And this hadn't been possible without UN Women. So I am very thankful to them because this experience would have never happened without them. So thank you very much.
I love it. Barbara, you're doing a great job. Okay, great. Now back to Angelica. Why would you say the world needs more UN Women funded programs? And why should people specifically donate tonight? And just to give you a heads up, the Miami office has a relationship with the Columbia office. So we're able to send money instead of just going into the ethers, into like a global organization. You have no idea where it's going. We're really taking money that we're raising tonight and we're funneling it to Columbia so that people like Angelica has access to funds to keep doing the work that they're doing in Colombia. So Swaini is sort of reporting from Brazil, her experience, but our funds are going to Colombia and we are over halfway to our goal. Thank you everyone who's contributing. But again, Angelica, I just went on a tangent, so I'll repeat the question again. Why does the world need more UN Women funded programs, and why should people donate tonight to programs like the one you've shared with us?
Okay. Bueno, Jessica, pues en realidad todavía tenemos mucho trabajo que hacer, ¿cierto? Hemos venido trabajando fuertemente en Colombia por la paz, ¿cierto? Que creo que es algo que se conoce quizás mundialmente, los esfuerzos que hemos traído por la construcción de la paz en Colombia, y para nosotras esa construcción de la paz es también una vida libre de violencias para las mujeres. Tenemos aún muchos retos al respecto, reconocemos que en este momento todavía 1 de cada 3 mujeres en el mundo sufre violencias basadas en género, es la situación que tenemos también en Colombia, que es uno de los países de la región con un índice de impunidad muy alto, ¿cierto? Como que tenemos todavía estos retos en el país y consideramos que los programas que se trabajan, por ejemplo, como los de ONU Mujeres, los que estamos trabajando también como ONU Mujeres, USAID, es un apoyo fundamental para que personas como nosotras, que tenemos la experiencia, la intención y la pasión de desarrollar este trabajo por una vida libre de violencias para las mujeres, pueda juntarse con su intención de aportar y sus recursos para que esto sea posible. Creemos que esto es lo central también como de esta noche.
There's still a lot of work to do. In Colombia, as you probably all know, we've been working very hard towards peace. This is something that probably the entire world knows, how we really struggle to finally get peace in Colombia. But for us, that peace is also a life free of violence for women. We are still having many challenges that we face. 1 out of 3 women in Colombia and in the world is a victim of gender violence. And we really believe that in Colombia, we should keep on working to improve the situation of women. In our country, we have a high rate of impunity, and we need to do something to stop all this from happening. Programs like the one we are carrying out with UN Women are so important because they are key support for us, for people like us with the experience and the passion and the will to do all this type of work. And without the support of UN Women, without the resources and the will that we are receiving from you, this would have been impossible.
Excellent explanation. All right, great. And now those were the questions. Wow. All right. So we have Q&A coming up. And we've got Swaini here to answer questions, and Helika to answer questions, myself to answer questions. If you have any questions, and I'd invite you, even if you're a board member, why don't you make a donation now and put your question in the donation? Even if it's a $5 donation, it's fine. It doesn't have to be, it's just to get in the spirit of the thing. But we would love to have you make a donation and paste it again in the comments section when you make that donation. We are going to show our last video of the night, and these are introducing our final board members. And the event will be wrapping up soon. Stick with us through this next video, and we will come together with some closing comments and some Q&A and get you set onto the rest of your evening. So why don't you, Amanda, cue the Board of Directors video 2.
Hi there, my name is Etane Connor, and why am I passionate about UN Women? I've worked in industries that are very male-dominated, and I've watched women get passed over for opportunities because they're not men. I've also seen women, including myself, get questioned about our principles, our philosophies, in ways that men never were. And I find it really important to promote and showcase and share and help be part of a mission that is going to empower women to grow, to become financially self-sufficient, and to really showcase the badasses that we actually are and we deserve to showcase. So I'm honored to be part of the board. I'm excited to be part of the board, and there's some great missions ahead that I can't wait to participate with.
Hello, my name is Andres Rosa, and I am a member of the 2020-2021 Committee for the United Nations Women Chapter of Miami. I am very pleased to have this opportunity to continue to serve in this chapter, helping on these activities where we can raise funds to continue to support activities on the ground for really achieving gender equality globally, as well and specifically to assure women, children, as well as girls have the full potential to exercise their rights and to develop the skills where they can participate in the society strongly and equally everywhere. Thank you for continuing to support.
Hi, I'm Susie Dunand.
And I'm Ana Oliveira, and we're both part of the board of United Nations Women Miami Chapter. And we're also from the Dominican Republic, a developing country. And as such, we know the trials and tribulations girls and women go through in countries like ours.
And being part of the United Nations Women Miami Chapter, we believe that through education, financial resources, and knowledge, we can empower women around the world and make a difference for their future and their families. And we believe that, yes, we can.
Together we can.
Together we can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Amanda Guerra, and I am passionate about UN Women because of what UN Women stands for. I hope to one day live in a world where there is no longer violence against women. And UN Women is giving me the opportunity to be a part of the change and the progress within gender equality. And I hope that as a young woman in my community, I can help other young women create partnerships with women-led organizations like UN Women. And I'm really excited to see all of the differences and advances that we can make since we are a group of strong women that really want to make a change. So I'm really proud to be a member of the UN Women Miami organization.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Rivas, and the reason I am so passionate about being on the board of UN Women Miami is because I want to achieve gender equality, and I want to ensure that the standards are effectively implemented and truly benefit women and girls worldwide.
Awesome. You guys got to meet Amanda there for 60 seconds, the wizard behind the curtain. I want to thank Scott O from UN Women Gulf Coast and National. Thanks for your donation to our chapter. We look forward to collaborating with you guys going forward. But as we look to see, if any questions, we're trying out this interface for the first time. So I'm still waiting to see if any questions pop up from the supporters tab. But we do have one question that came from the board just now on the WhatsApp chat. And I think it's a good question to pose both towards Swaney and Angelica is, what has the role of men what has been the role of men in the gender equality discussion? And the great question. So maybe we start with Swaney?
Então, Swaney, a pergunta é a seguinte: qual é o papel do homem na discussão de igualdade de gênero?
Então, o papel do homem na discussão, primeiro, é ouvir. Ouvir o que nós mulheres temos a dizer e o que nós estamos sofrendo. Depois, ele tem que começar a contribuir para que a gente transforme a sociedade. Se a gente não conseguir mudar através da fala, da discussão, da conversa, a gente não vai conseguir avançar. A gente precisa de escuta, precisa de respeito. Isso só vai partir também dos homens. Não adianta a gente falar só para nós mesmas, mas eles também precisam ouvir o que a gente está passando e ouvir que parte da violência que nós sofremos é culpa deles. Então, eles precisam nos ouvir para poder, junto com a gente, eles propagarem a mudança. Eu acredito que seja dessa forma que a gente vai conseguir ter uma sociedade mais igual em termos de gênero.
So, first of all, they need to listen and listen. They need to listen what us women have to say. They need to listen how is it that we suffer. And secondly, they need to contribute in changing society. We need to talk and talk and talk, and that's the way for us to move forward. But if they do not listen to us, then we won't be changing society. They need to listen, because if the conversation is only between us women, it makes no sense, because they are part of the society and they are partly guilty of the violence that we are suffering. So they need to be involved in the conversation, they need to listen, they need to contribute, and they need to spread the change, because that's the only way for society to change.
Wow, very, very well said. Angelica, I know that's a tough act to beat, but what is your sort of interpretation of the role that men play in the gender equality conversation?
Listo, para nosotras es importante mencionar que no solamente son los hombres de la sociedad civil, ¿cierto?, como los que debemos tener en cuenta en todas estas transformaciones, que es muy de acuerdo con Suani. También es en los hombres del Estado, ¿cierto?, que en este momento conforman las instituciones del Estado, que son servidores públicos. Estos hombres en este momento hacen parte de las instituciones encargadas de atender y prevenir las violencias contra las mujeres. Y ha sido también ahí donde hemos reivindicado el rol de los hombres en estos escenarios como un rol de cambio, ¿cierto? Consideramos que estos hombres son potenciales agentes de cambio, y para eso se brindan también estas herramientas que queremos dar desde la colectiva Justicia Mujer.
Well, for us, it is very important to point out that it's not only the men in the civil society, as Sueni well said, that the ones that have to be involved in this transformation. Also, those men working in the state, those public servants, need to be part of the change too, because they are the ones present in the institutions that are supposed to help prevent gender violence. So this is what we see in terms of men as part of this change. We see them as agents of change. It's so important for them to continue with this role of changing the current situation. And this is why we have developed this tool, this training tool, this educational tool, so we can really achieve that change.
What a great perspective. And that was a great question by Stacy Lucis from the board. So, wow, I think that comes to the end of our session tonight. I want to thank everybody for being on the call. I'm going to say goodbye myself, but Jazz, can you put on your camera? And I would love for you to sort of wrap up the night. If anyone else has any questions, ask them real quick in the supporter box. If not, have an amazing night. Thank you for joining us, and especially Sueni and Angelica, thank you so much for coming and for joining us and giving us your perspective. And you guys couldn't have said it better.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'm so excited and emotional at the same time. I've learned so much from everything that you shared. The statistics from Colombia were heartbreaking. And I'm excited at the same time that we've put this event together. We've been thinking for months what event to do, along with the events committee, with Jessica and myself, and we've tried to do other things. When this came up, I thought it was going to be great, but now that we did it and we've done it, I think it was amazing, and I couldn't be more proud of the board for coming for this, putting this event together, and for bringing Sueni and Angelica. I want to thank Barbara for doing an amazing job and translating and interpreting. I'm sorry. You're wonderful, and the passion that you put into this topic as well. Jessica, you've done a great job. And I want to thank all the people who participated as well. We started with just over $1,100, and now we're almost at $1,700. So this is amazing. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. This will be used, as it has been said before, for programs to end violence against women. And as you've heard today, it is much needed. And we're going to use these funds to support Colombia and their efforts to end violence against women and girls. So thank you so much. And as I said, thank you for your donations, but I will encourage you to become a member of our chapter, to stay engaged, to learn about our events, our programs, and what we are up to. So please stay in touch, follow us on Instagram as well, and yeah, become a member. So
Night,
thank you.
everyone.
Have a great night.
Good night. Signing off.